Well, Ann Coulter, of course, the best-selling author. Have you read her book, In Trump We Trust? This is the Trump book. If you haven't gotten it, get this book. And her new column, you go to AnnCoulter.com. You can get everything there at AnnCoulter.com and follow her on Twitter and Facebook. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
Fine, thanks. How are you, Mark Simone?
Very good. Hey, all this security, they say it's $180 million to protect Trump. The 100 agents had to go with the kids to Aspen. Don't you think Democrats should pay for this? They are the ones that caused the threat level to be so high on him. They should pay for this.
Oh, that's a very good point.
Yeah, I mean,
Instead of like Obamacare taxing tanning salons, we can put an enormous tax on New York Times subscriptions.
yeah, because if they had not been so rabid and insane, they wouldn't have raised the threat level this high.
No, that really is true. I don't think they're helping themselves. I'm assuming no liberals listen to your program, so
There's a few.
I'm not giving them any tips, news they could use, but this hysteria, I really do not think is helping liberals. I mean, they probably can't turn it off anyway. It's like trying to calm down a mob, but they have ginned people up into such a frenzy, and I mean, they don't even know what they're angry about. It's just a frenzy, and I particularly was noticing with this latest district court judge who's decided he's going to run immigration policy for the entire country, and that policy is anybody who wants to come here can. For liberals to be doing cartwheels over this, I mean, this is the subtitle of my second to last book, and the most important book not only I, but anyone has ever written, Adios America.
Which Donald Trump held up at many rallies and said, read this.
Yes, it's thank God he read it. The subtitle is The Left's Plan to Turn Our Country into a Third World Hellhole. Well, that wasn't hyperbole. That wasn't me joking around. They are doing cartwheels over the idea that a judge has managed to ensure that the Third World mass invasion of America, there will be no pause. We're not slowing it down. What is the upside here for Americans? Forget the terrorism rationale, which really makes Trump's executive order bulletproof to anyone who has any respect for the Constitution, the law, the concept of the commander-in-chief. But why? What are we getting out of third world immigrants when they're not committing terrorism, when we don't have 20 FBI agents following them around from the moment they arrive here? Massive welfare consumption. Muslim immigrants in particular are super majority on enormous amounts of welfare. That's welfare meant for Americans. We have our own people to take care of. They're taking jobs, and don't worry, we're not running out of any our diversity at any point. But can we have a pause now? We need time to take care of the people who are already here.
Yeah, I agree. A pause. That's all it was. A pause for better vetting. Hey, did you see? I had this on my webpage yesterday. This is Donald Trump. This is the real Donald Trump. He's driving from the airport in Palm Beach to Mar-a-Lago. He sees a group of supporters. They're out in the hot sun with these signs, God bless President. He stops and waves to them. You can see the Secret Service. I have all this video up there. They're pushing him back in the car. You can't stand outside in this bridge. They make him go. He sends a van back 10 minutes later, 2 vans. They said, Mr. Trump would like to bring you all to Mar-a-Lago and meet with you. It's the most touching thing I've ever seen.
I know. What a wonderful day they must have had. No,
But have you seen any publicity on that anywhere?
You're right. Only on your webpage, you're right.
And listen to this. I'm not kidding. One website put it up, and the actual headline was, Trump sends armed guards after supporters.
No.
I swear to God, it said Trump sends armed guards after supporters who
You have to tell me what website that is.
I'll send it to you.
I need more hate reading. I missed that one. No, he has many skills and many political skills that are really wonderful. But I do think he is falling into the briar patch with this abominable Obamacare light bill. I hope this will be the end of Paul Ryan, and I hope this bill goes down as It sure looks like it's going to. But, I tweeted out, I guess it was yesterday, Trump is the only one who understands and understood throughout the primaries what needs to be done with health care. These politicians, it's like the old Sidney Hook expression, to a man with a hammer, all the world is a nail. You give politicians a little bit of power, and they think, well, if we're going to have health care in this country, we're going to have to make sure they cover immunizations and flu shots and broken legs. No, if these guys were writing a bill on hotels, it would be, we need a federal mandate. There will be a bed in every hotel room. No, I think the free market will figure this out. We don't need you doing this. We need to fix health care for 80 to 90% of Americans. All you need is one sentence. There shall be a free market in health insurance. Right now, I can't buy health insurance. Obamacare made it completely illegal. It wasn't easy before that, but these mandates, you can't buy something that any normal person would consider insurance. What I can buy is from a single, I think there are two providers in the tiny little burg of the state of New York. And I can't buy health insurance unless it covers gambling, addiction, marital counseling, pregnancy, prenatal health care. Oh, and of course, health care for illegal aliens. That's what my premium pays for, among many, many, many other things. Drug addiction treatment. There's some things I'm quite sure I'm not going to need, and I'm sure there are some things that people listening don't need that I do need. I like to ski. I want to make sure I have really good coverage for broken bones, that sort of thing. Really, really good coverage, not just your standard coverage. It's the same way you buy car insurance, and our cars aren't as important to us as our own bodies. We know what kind of lifestyles we have. And as I've said before, as a backup, since my approved by Obamacare health care plan is utterly useless, I have a backup Christian health care plan, which isn't allowed to call itself insurance, but that's what it is. And, you're not required to cover everybody else's marital counseling and psychological treatment or pregnancies. I've been waiting my whole life to be able to buy health insurance where I don't have to pay for other people's kids. And it's $50 a month. That's even with a teeny tiny little pool. Put it on the free market. It will be cheap, and we can get the plans we want, go to the doctors we want to go to. Trump is the only one who understood that. I mean, if you're not going to put in the sentence, there shall be a free market in health insurance, then what Trump is saying is right. Just allow us to buy health insurance across state lines, because I promise you, out in Utah, their state insurance commissioner, the most corrupt bureaucrats in America, because they're bought off by the providers of all of these health care plans. That's why all of this stuff has to be covered, not because the public is clamoring for it. It's because the providers of marital counseling go to buy off the health insurance commissioners and say, hey, could you make sure every insurance plan is required to cover my services? It's utterly outrageous.
Yeah,
in Utah, they don't cover, oddly enough, gambling, drug addiction, divorce. So you could get an inexpensive plan. That is the quickest and easiest way for even a politician to give us something like a free market. Then everything else, which is 10 or 20% of the cases, I bet you it comes down to 10% of the cases, are people who can't pay for their own health care for one reason or another, either because they don't have enough money, or because they lost a genetic lottery, had a kid with some very expensive medical problem, that sort of thing. Okay, but that's a different case. That's a different case.
Well, and there's a lot of studies that show if you take the worst 5% of health problems, if you put them in the government pool, you could bring everybody's costs down in half.
Right. And there's no animosity in my voice or in anyone's. No one feels bad about paying for those people. Of course we want to pay for those people, but you don't need to ruin the entire free market for the rest of it. It's the same way, some people can't afford food, so we have food stamps for them. You can deal with corruption and fraud a little bit better, but we'll leave that aside. That doesn't mean that you have to give me a food voucher that only allows me to buy certain types of food.
Yeah, no, and that's part of the plan. Take the worst 5% out. Government pays all their bills. That comes out to $15 to $20 billion a year. Easy to do. Everybody else's premiums are cut in half. Or you let
more than in half.
Yeah.
Way more than in half. I'm paying $700 a month for an Obamacare approved. It's not technically Obamacare, but it's allowed by law, so it covers everything under the sun. $700 a month for the Christian health care plan, health insurance, not allowed to call it health insurance. It's $50 a month, and that is with a teeny tiny pool of people who can join. You have to be a Christian for one thing.
And you qualified?
Ha! Ha! Heathen.
I'm in the heathen plan.
Yeah.
There's more of us than you.
Separately, you guys need all that gambling and drug addiction coverage.
Well, a little, yeah. Well, Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us. Everybody get her book, In Trump We Trust. Hey, and if you didn't get the book, Adios America, that was one of the books that launched the Trump campaign. Get that. You can go to anncoulter.com and get the books. And the new column comes out tonight?
Yes, it does.
Well, go to anncoulter.com and sign up. That way you get the column ahead of everybody else. anncoulter.com. Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Good to talk to you, Mark Simone. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.